Hello, happy 4th, Michael. How are ya? Hopefully you're doing well. You popped in crazy quick. We haven't even been live for a minute. You were here. You were like, I'm ready to hang out with Alex. Here I am. Hi. God, I need a haircut like nobody else. My God. Woo! That's what I gotta do tomorrow. Get a haircut, get some stuff together. It'd be a wild ride. Well, good. I'm glad you're getting notifications. You know, I'm always one to make sure that people are getting their notifications to know when I'm live, because I know a lot of people tend to not get them. And if they do get them, that's rad. But sometimes they don't. And I go, oh man, well, what the hell? I'm going to be checking my... stuff here real quick. I want to make sure I'm not missing out on any kind of thing here. Sometimes my email can get like clogged up with a bunch of stuff, and I want to make sure that I'm not missing out on any kind of what do you call it? Any kind of promotion or anything that could be happening here, because I do really want to make sure that I don't miss those. All right, so what order was this? Strike Zone. Oh, well, that's fine. Anyway, we're going to talk about collectibles today. It's the 4th of July, and that means that now it's America's birthday. America's old dang birthday. And the best thing that we get to do here in America is have the freedom to go play card games and hang out and stuff and just be able to do these things, you know, enjoy our free time and make do with what happened. I'm gonna give you guys a quick little update on my my armory last night, which was awful, mind you. I realize I need to kind of learn how to play into most of these heroes again. I didn't realize how changing classes in Flesh and Blood is so debilitating. Essentially what it is I used to play a hero that all she did was she created these dragon allies, and I would attack with these dragon allies as well as some other attacks that I had in the deck. But she living legend, and so now I have to change heroes and classes because I don't want to play either of the two other illusionists that are currently available. So it's funny when I look at the deck, because I'm just like, oh man, this is going to be like crazy worth, essentially. But I realize that while my new deck is very, very good, I don't know how to play it. And so because I don't know how to play it, it just ends up feeling bad. So it's a feels bad situation. I'm not entirely in love with it, but it is what it is. So we have a lot of cards in this deck, but I think overall, what did we do here? We removed these guys. I took out the red Double Trouble. I kept in the blue Double Trouble. Yeah. This is an inventory though. Well, we don't exactly have that set up. I think you can do something to set it up here. I just haven't gone about doing it. There's not like a channel point system. You'd probably have to do like it end up being something like super chat or something. But don't worry, I'll probably be on Twitch later tonight anyway. So who knows? I don't know. I like being here on YouTube, streaming on YouTube, but I also know that streaming on Twitch, you know, the point is to stream and then take the VODs of the stream and then upload them to your YouTube as you cut them into things. So I don't know. I just don't really know if I like Twitch. They took my passport money and sent my old one back. Oh my God. Really? They were just like, we'll take your money. Here's your old passport. That's kind of shit. Oh, I see. Okay. That's a good thing. I was like, if that's the thing, right? Sounds like it would have been bad, but do you need to get a new passport? I need to get a new passport. I need to update my passport. Not that I expect to go out of the country anytime soon, but I would like to update my license. Ah, okay. How was I doing to do this here for? Let's see. Just a Nick, persuasives, bonds. October 2024. There you go. Everybody's expires in October. Yeah, I think mine expired December of 2 years ago. And I like haven't gotten it because I just don't need it, you know? Ah, okay. Well, that's at least good. At least you got it back, so. Yeah. There you go. Everybody get on top of your adulting today. That's what the goal is for today, is to remember to adult. I'm trying to figure out what the hell's in my deck that I kept. What in the world? I don't think I added anything crazy in here. The mask. I've got the mask. These things. So essentially, like, the deck that I ran last night was about like $800. Which is just insane. But not terrible. I don't think I got anything insane out of it, but learning a new class is just like so exhausting. Not knowing where like the breakpoint issue is, what your plan is into things, and like I'm always trying to like better understand that concept. I don't know. I know what you mean. Ah, I see. $200 of the stuff. Woo. I mean, I guess those tend to be pretty expensive. But that's it, right? If you're not gonna hype up the lady, then you're never gonna see them in it. That's how that works. It is a lot, yeah. I was gonna say, I was just like, either your dimensions are larger, or it's just like a hyped up brand of thing. This God rays coming out of this thing are ridiculous. It's crazy to me that it's as bright as it is. If there's one thing I wish didn't happen, was the sun come right in. So See how dirty my glasses are? No. I mean, they are dirty, but I think it's just like, it's a lot sometimes, you know? Well, now I have to fucking wipe these off. They're not going to be much better. The best part is that these glasses cost me like a whopping $30. Zenny Optical, everybody, if you're looking for glasses. Zenny Optical. Not a sponsor of the channel, but $30 for prescription glasses is a steal, after all. So, that's fine. Oh, God. But yeah, so Armory sucked. I went 0-3 last night. It was really, really bad. But not the end of the world, you know? Insurance coverage before you need glasses? Oh, well, I mean, I don't have to worry. I really don't have to worry about insurance for my eyes. The only thing eye insurance does for me is if I would need some kind of surgical thing on my eyes, or to go get a checkup on my prescription. Which, honestly, for the record, if here in the States at least, if you've never done that before, or you don't have an eye insurance, it's like $75 or something for you to get your prescription, or for you to like know what your prescription is. And then again, you can just go to Zenny Optical and you can put in all your information for your prescription, and then you can just buy a pair of glasses for like $30. Whereas if you go buy a pair of glasses like at the place you go get your eyes checked, or any of the big name stores, it costs you like $150 some fucking dollars for glasses. So don't let them rob you. Go to Zenny. But yeah, so it was a bad night last night. We didn't do too great, but that's fine. Not the end of the world. I definitely would. I would definitely prefer that I did at least one win, but my games were like really rough. Game 1 was like kind of close, but not really, because I was going against an Azalea, which is a rough matchup for me. And then I have my next matchup is Prism against Casey. Casey does really, really well in Prism. And I end up just like getting stomped due to strict, like, just I couldn't like deal with the onslaught of stuff that was happening to me, so I just couldn't do it. And then my last game was like my worst one, because I didn't deal a single point of damage to my opponent, and they killed me. And that is insane to me, because I can't present a ton of damage and Enigma just gets to go, stop doing what you're doing. 150 most claims this year, $800. My God, $800. Man, if you're paying $800 for glasses, you are fucked up. There's no way. There's no way. $800 for glasses. That's wild. Yeah, so it was a bad night last night, but not the end of the world. I got to go play around with some people and hang out, so I'm excited. And I really was, I don't know. I was happy that the deck like had good lines. It's just like, I think my mindset is so like, you either all defend or all attack, and you can't like, I can't just take a whole bunch of damage and hope for disruption, because I don't like present enough. All of my attacks come in for like 1 and then get buffed and then come in for 6. And so like if my turn is just come in for 6, banish 2 cards, it's not very great. When they can come in for like 15 and get a whole bunch of other value off of it. So I played MTG with me and some buddies a while ago. Damn, I'm telling you, Gish does some work. Gish has got value. That's what it's talking about. Did you see all the Bloomburrow stuff they're going to be coming out with? I think that's a set that's going to get a lot of people who left Magic back into it. But just because Bloomburrow is literally a whole set where like the Magic universe gets transformed into like cute forest creatures. So there's like otters and bats and rats and squirrels and mice and all this other stuff. So it's incredibly cute, and it's probably going to be like another super hype set because all these other sets are just like meh, jank little funny things. But this is like, I think a lot of people have said that Bloomburrow feels a lot more like an actual like plane, because it's like, okay, cool, we're entering this plane, and in this plane these things exist. It's kind of like Lorwyn, right? Lorwyn is the plane that has like no humans in it. There's no humans. It's only like fantasy creatures. So, it's very cool. Very cool. But there's a lot of stuff there. There's a lot of things I wanted to like check out and see. But there's like, shoot, there's so many things that I just want to actually just check him real quick, right? So this is Hugs. I didn't even see this guy. Hugs, the Grizzly Guardian. Enters exile the top X cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. If you play an additional land on each of you may play an additional land on each of your turns. Okay, so this is just ramp. Ramp Badger. I hear this is going to be good. Lumra, new bear commander. Lumra, Bellow of the Woods. Power and toughness equal to the number of lands you control. And it enters, you mill 4 cards and return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. It's crazy. The frog one's cute. Oh yeah. There's like a swan. There's, oh yeah, Sunshower Druid. This guy. He cute. He cute little guy. It's fun. The lands also look very good too. I like that they're going with like a seasonal thing, because this was something that was like really, really cool in many different I don't know, I feel like they've done this land cycle kind of stuff before where you have like multiple you know, different seasons shown in here. Yeah, Mabel. This is the mouse. Heir to Cragflame. Some new Boros bullshit nobody's gonna ever play. But yeah, so it's gonna be a fun set. This one's also gonna be very interesting. Ooh, excuse me, very interesting. Duskmourn House of Horrors. I'm not sure if I'm in love with the set, because it seems kind of campy. It's very like 80s horror concept. It's like they took like Stranger Things and Ghostbusters and then made them into a set in the Magic the Gathering universe, which was just doesn't feel right. But some of the cards do look like really fucked up. Like this one, what is that? 6 black mana, Doomsday Excruciator. Flying, when it enters, if it was cast, each player exiles all but the bottom 6 cards of their library face down. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card. Like, this is kind of crazy. Play this. Die. The lands look super pretty. I didn't even see these. These look gorgeous. Beautiful stuff. This is a very interesting card. I don't know if you can see it. It looks like a cat, but it's actually a cat entirely made out of spiders. Like, it's just spider bodies that are inhabiting this thing. So... right? Fab is looking weird, Sloop. That's what I'm saying. We were talking about... we were just talking about some MTG stuff, and I was like, oh, I'm curious what these new cards look like. And I'm like, yep, this is just Magic now. Like, look at this. You want to see? You just go to Scryfall, scryfall.com. I'll shoot you a link. in a sec here. I don't know. The set seemed very interesting, but I'm not like, again, I still just don't know if there is ever going to be like a set in which I'm like, oh yeah, this will be perfect. But how you doing, Sloop? How are things over on your end? Let me get back over to Findall's collection. Let's get back to the better TCG. But doing good. Glad to hear, man. Glad to hear. We were I was discussing earlier with I was doing my my Clash Bash stuff, and I was talking about something that I thought about doing. I'd be curious if this thought went through your head as well. But I essentially wanted to make a Clash-ic constructed build. Just that way people can play Classic Constructed at a very budget level, but I'd be curious. I have to do some testing still for it. Huge fan of the Redwall series. Bloomberg Alexis, I would love to have the game. Yeah. I think that's the thing with me too. I don't know anything about the Redwall series. I know it's kind of like the whole concept behind this set with Bloomburrow, but I don't know if it's still not enough for me to be like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll get back into it. But at this point, if I'm going to be playing Magic the Gathering, I'm probably going to be playing Pauper. And if I'm not playing Pauper, I'm probably playing like Modern. And that's like a jump, right? You know, because like I'm used to Flesh and Blood prices. I can play Modern. That's within the realm of possibility for me. But I really do not have an interest in a lot of the stuff that comes out for Magic outside of wanting to collect it. So I read all the books as a kid. I own 22 of them. Well, if you enjoy the series, I'll have to check it out. I liked if there's a book that I tried out. I read Tales of Despero. I don't know if you ever heard that one. I read that a while ago. By a while ago, I mean 15 years ago. And that was pretty good. But I don't know anything about the Redwall series, so I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I think Clash CC would be fun, you know? Like, maybe even just make it essentially just living legend Clash, pretty much. You can use people like Starvo and Chain and all these things, and so you're able to play them, you know, kind of at a more reasonable level. And that way you have less of those swingy blitz turns, because something that I realize with all the games that I've been playing in the Clash Bash this time around is that when playing my aggro deck, the game is over in 3 turns, or it is, you know, a fatigue match. And I feel like with the 20 health being in blitz for so long, it's really, really tough to go, I want to do kind of a mid-rangey thing, or to set up a good combo, or to kind of get these things ready. Like, I don't see maybe like a third or maybe even half of my deck on a regular basis when playing in a blitz format or playing in a young hero format. So I don't know. I'm not it's not that I don't love the formats. I think they're really, really good. I still love Clash for like getting people into the game and beginner stuff, but I definitely think that if people are going to try and actually get into the game, they might prefer a more classic constructed beginner entry point as opposed to blitz, just because it's gonna be more kind of like grindy in the sense where CC is. So isn't Clash, but it's super budget till using Uprising instead of Art War and trying to get Phoenix form off. There you go. There you go. I like Uprising. I think the card's really, really good. A card I really want to make work in Fi is Blood of the Drakai. I don't think I'll ever, because like Cheerios is pretty much like most of what you want. But I don't know. It's interesting. I feel like Fi does super well, but I wish it 4 armory decks at once. Yeah, I would like a Precon CC would be fun. I'm sure it's only a matter of time, right? I mean, I had this discussion with people on my Is Fab Expensive in 2024 video that I made recently. where somebody was like, it's just a shame that like the armory decks kind of suck because there's only one of them right now. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it does suck. There is only one. You'd imagine you could probably make more, but they want to make sure that these things work first and that people are actually going to buy them, as opposed to, you know, throwing out a whole bunch of precons, printing all these extra cards, and then having people go, oh, well, I don't actually want this. Like, I'm never going to touch it. So you know, it's only a matter of time. What, by mid-August, we're going to have 3 at least. That's not a terrible choice. I'd be curious to know what the 4th one's going to be, though. If there is, you know, because I think there's 5 releasing this year alone. So there's a 4th and a 5th one. They probably, you know, shoot, at this rate, they might as well just make an Aurora one, because they already make an Aurora Blitz deck, an Aurora First Strike deck, and then they can just make an Aurora Armory deck. Where the Bolton deck won't be nearly as strong as KO. Yeah, I think that's also just like, it's an unfortunate thing because Bolton is consistent in what he can do, but into the current, you know, meta of CC, you're not really getting a ton of, I don't know, you're not really getting a ton of value, because Warriors quickly were like here, and then everybody was just like Mistveil heroes, and now Warriors like here. And so I don't know what exactly happened in that regard, but Zen is just a monster, I guess. But I think as long as they make it fairly thematic, right? They make it actually like more yellow based, right? If they strictly make it, because that's the thing, I see a theme happening with every one of these CC decks. You have KO is no miss, Azalea is aim counters. So I assume Bolton is going to be yellow stuff. Piss Bolton, Lemonade Bolton, or when you want to be PG about it, Piss Bolton. And yeah, an Aurora Secret Lair. I think it's like, I don't know. I'd be curious to see what exactly is going to happen with the whole thing. I hope they all end up being fairly competitive into at least one another, if not just like a good starting place for people. But, you know, there's always the complaint that people will have with these starter decks where it's like, yeah, you get it, and then you don't have a sideboard. And then you get it, and you realize that you're never going to be beating a Zen at max level with a KO deck right out of the box. And it's rough, because you want people to be able to actually have a good time, right? And it's hard, you know, you can't just expect to buy a precon and then win an event. In most cases, in most TCGs, that doesn't happen. So it is a difficult line, but I think that's just what people expect. People expect that, and they go, oh, okay, well, when I buy this $40 product, I need to be able to win my armory. But the problem is that, like, my armory, for instance, has a bunch of people from Team Ascent on it. So when I go to my armory, it's not like, oh, yeah, I just get to hang out with some casuals who are like, you know, we're all like about a year plus into the game, but we're very like casual about our play style and we play other formats. No, it's like CC with Team Ascent players. It might as well be like a pro quest every single time I go. So, you know, if you're not mentally prepared for that, it could feel bad, but it also helps you get better because you're going against professional players who will teach you things about the game that you would not initially know. And I think that's very, very good. Bolt now kind of needs the M's to function. Yeah, I would hope they reprint Lumina and like via Vanguard and Beacon in there, right? If those three at least, you know, because I don't think they're not going to print a legendary, so they're not going to get Spirit of Irina. But I mean, at least Lumina Ascension. But I'd be curious to see what happens, right? Because we also know that he's getting a whole new suite of armor, whereas KO only got 2 new pieces of armor, Bolton and Azalea are getting entirely new suites of armor in these decks. So I'm assuming every single one of them is probably going to do the if you charged a yellow, do a thing, or charge a card into your soul if it's yellow, do a thing, and then have like Battle Worn one on it or something. Because what was it actually? Let's look at fabtcg. Fabtcg. Let's see. Do they have it up here? No, I think it's in retailer news. No, it might be in marketing assets. Bolton. Let's see here. Because I can't remember what those feet did. So mad if they put Beaming Blade instead of Raiden in the deck, though. Yeah, no, I don't think they're gonna put Beaming Blade in there. I think I'd be pissed too. If anything, he might get a new weapon, because like warriors also care a lot about their weapons. So they're either gonna get Raiden, his quite literally his weapon, or he's gonna get a new weapon that's stronger. Like I think they should just put Raiden in there. There's no reason for them to not put Raiden in there. Like it made sense for KO to have Mandible Claw, because one, it's his actual signature weapon, and two, it's just the best one for his kit. Whereas with this, Raiden is going to be necessary. I don't know why I'm here. I should just go to February, because they're going to have this actually up. We still don't know what the other ones do. So Helm of Heligrate, when it defends, you may charge your hero's soul. If a yellow card is charged this way, draw a card. When this defends, you may charge your hero's soul. If a yellow card is charged this way, create a Quicken token. So yeah, so this is essentially just, I'm assuming all of his armor is going to be like this. You just block with your armor, charge, and you get to gain life with your bannerets, or however you want to do it. And then you've got a card in here, Saving Grace. Yeah, if you charge this turn, target attack gets -2. So it's weird because like seeing like new, how like the defense reactions. Like I feel like most warriors aren't playing defense reactions, so I'm curious if this is just going to be like charge a thing, swing big weapon, like Guardians or something. Crazy how much better Fabry is than the official site. Yeah, I mean the official site is definitely, it's. We had that whole thing that came up for the pre-order, and like you can't find anything for it on the main site somehow. Can't find anything for the main site for that whole like pre-order your thing, and it gave you like the whole suite of all the armor and everything. But I mean, February just like it gets it all set up for you, and I'm sure it's somewhere on here, but you have to search for it like pretty deep. And I feel like that's, you know, if there's not an article for it, it's just kind of meh. But they do also have this, which I'd be curious to see what they end up doing here. So this I'm hoping to get like a pretty solid upgrade. I haven't like looked too deep into their database stuff, but you look at the KO Armory deck, it gives you everything that's in the Armory deck, and I think it's really, really good. So I'm assuming we're going to see stuff like that for Bolton and for everything, but February just like, I mean, they're on top of it. They're just on top of it. They get in, they go, okay, cool. We need to update everything. Yeah, I don't know. I think Bolton's armor is probably not going to be like super crazy, but I think this is really the most like alarming thing, because this only says if you charge this turn, target attack gets -2, which means that it doesn't block a CNC very well. And I think this would be, well, you can't even block CNC with this defense reaction. I don't know what I'm talking about. Sensor or any of these other things, right? Well, sensor comes in for 5. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just on one right now. But I feel like you're not really going to be playing a whole bunch of D-Reacts. Like, I hope this isn't like a weird D-React warrior deck, because it should very much so be an attack react warrior deck, because Bolton is going to be swinging stuff and then giving it go again with cards and soul. I think this is just going to be they're going to find maybe a more efficient way to get cards into soul for Bolton without having to, like, drop stuff, right? Because putting cards into soul is costly. I mean, it's a whole card. You have to chuck it in there. So, yeah. I mean, you're probably due to expect a lot of that there, right? So, Talent Lights, Class Warrior. I think adding Blood Rush, I mean, it's like a $15 upgrade. I was talking to some of the same people in the YouTube comments, and I was like, if you put $60 more dollars into a KO deck, I think you could win an Armory. You know, if you had a $100 minimum and that's all you were willing to spend on this game was $100, like, I think you were able to make a pretty viable KO deck. And we actually just had a KO who won our Armory last week on a deck that didn't have any CNCs or E-Strikes. It just had Send Packings, Cast Bones, Blood Rush Bellows, and like, I think like a couple Beast Withins or something. So they won the whole thing. So it's very, very much so consistent, and I'm happy that if I really wanted to, I could upgrade the deck to make that happen. They were even running Hide Tanner. They were running the Hide Tanner gloves. So it's capable, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think maybe you're looking to get a little bit less here. So, what's up, Train? I do apologize. I don't know what that says. But if there is a way to translate that, I would be more than happy to answer. Hopefully that is just a hello, in which I'm just saying hi. Exactly. He just does well. And like the access to might tokens, the access to agility, like heavy hitters is just great for Brute. I like High Tanner. I think it's a good card. But man, I shredded his Savage Sash when he blocked with it, and he felt so bad. He was like, no way, you're kidding me. But yeah, Beacon of Victory is probably going to have to be, I mean, Banish Exarch Room of Soul, X can't be 0. Target attack gets +X. You charge, search your deck for an action card, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle. That's got to be in here, right? Because they care about charging a whole bunch. I'm curious if they're going to have all these other cards, right? Like if a yellow card is charged this way, get +1. So you're going to play like Beaming Bravado and charge of the Light Brigade. Well, maybe not charge the Light Brigade. What's the other one? Glaring? Yeah, if a yellow card is charged this way, it gets Overpower. Light the Way. When this hits, if a yellow card was charged this way, this gets Go again. The thing is, though, is that like Light the Way, this card has to hit and then charge. And so it's a lot of extra work. It's a lot of extra work for a 0 for 3 Go again. Honestly. But yeah, Lumina's pretty good in there. I think this might not be bad. Like, Prayer of Bologna could not be terrible, because it doesn't take away from cards from your hand. You can just reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a yellow, put it into your hand, then charge a Hero's Soul. So it's like taking the card off the top and then charging. What else? What does this card do? Additional cost to play this, you may charge your Hero's Soul. 0 for 3. If a yellow card was charged this way, whenever an attack action card hits this combat chain, create a Courage token. I guess it's not bad. I also think, how much does Iron Song Versus cost? Does it cost a lot still? $20? It's not terrible. This might be good. This might be a good pickup right now if you don't have one. I think it was cheaper though, previously. No. No, it's pretty cheap right now, considering. 20 bucks. Okay. All right, not bad. Yeah, I think Raiden's going to have to be the weapon they use, right? If you charge this turn, Raiden gets +3, cause 0 to attack. It's his signature weapon. It's just going to be good. Take Flight. Gotta play Take Flight. I don't know. Bolton's gonna be very interesting. It's not gonna be able to present as much numbers, but it also has to defend really well. Because with hyper aggro entering the fray and then also disruption being very big, it's hard for Bolton to just go, okay, I'm just gonna play my deck the way I play it, and you're gonna play the deck the way you play it, and whatever happens, happens, right? Oh, absolutely. They are so cheap. And that is something that is just, like, it's not talked about enough, honestly. Like, if you just look up in the Flesh and Blood TCG, let's just say you look up legendaries. There they are. Legendaries. In here, let's go ahead. Let's just do high to low, right? Balance of Justice and all the extended art stuff. Traverse went down significantly at $60. The only ones that are like high are the ones from Monarch and Aria, oddly enough. But like, I'm mad because I bought this at freaking $30 and now it's 23. Go figure, right? This is just continuing to go down in price, which is just wild because New just won so many nationals. But that's gone down. Crown is at $62. It's a $200 card at one point. Now it's at $62. Tunic. This is from Welcome to Wraith, so obviously it's going to be a bit more expensive. 12 Petal Kiosk is going to be freaking 25 bucks. People can just play Zen for like free. And Spellbound Creepers, that's another one, right? Phantasmal Footsteps and Spellbound Creepers are probably like super expensive. Valiant Dynamos have gone down in price significantly since Warrior hasn't been as popular. What's it, 6 months? Like, look at that. Like, it went up to 200 and now it's back down to 160 and now it's at 80. Like $90. $90 for a freaking Valiant Dynamo. This is not even a bad pickup. This is a really good pickup. Especially if Bolton is about to become possibly relevant. That's good. What else? Flame Scale's at $40. 40 bucks for a Flame Scale Furnace. That's crazy. Like, obviously it's just because like Dromai isn't playable and like you're only really using it for defensive mechanics in Ninja, but or in Fi, but goodness gracious, that's good. The extended R12 pedal is $75. It's $86 for the extended. Oh my god. Wow. Extended art Trench. Even like the really like rare versions of these are pretty crazy. I agree. It's very, very good. They're very accessible. Because like nearly everything. I mean, Shuko's obviously up strictly because of Zen right now, but oh no. Well, I mean, you know, money's money, I guess, right? I feel like it's just one of those things. Like if you end up getting any of these legendaries and they end up becoming $20 to $30, you could probably just wait until the hero becomes like hyped up and people, you know, pros start speculating on what legendaries are going to be really, really good for them. And then you just sell it on the hype. Like Black Tech, this is so funny because like I bought this card at like $45 roughly because I was like, oh man, I'm gonna need this for any assassin I play. And then I get New and I'm just like, New doesn't even really, she runs contract cards, but like Black Tech doesn't really like do anything for me, I guess. So even though some lists run Black Tech, and I think it's a fine build. I mean, being able to give a card go again on hit and then also buy it back, it's pretty good, and have Battleworn 1. It's much better than the boots. It's just essentially the boots, but you know, change it up. Scouting Flesh Bag is cheap right now. Storm Striders, this Storm Striders is still $90. That's crazy. Mask, cheap because nobody's really playing it right now, besides like Katsu, I think. The Dust Till Dawn, Crown of Poverty, $60. Shock Charmers, $57. Grasp, Vestiges of Soul is $25 right now. $38 for a Welcome to Wraith Rainbow Foil Mask of Momentum. It is somehow more expensive to buy a white bordered Mask of Momentum than it is a black border Welcome to Wraith Mask of Momentum. What is that all about? Even Meridian Pathway. Meridian Pathway's $20. The $20 legendary. This just came out, and it's like necessary for you to play it. Well, not necessary, but like it's very good for you to play Enigma. That's crazy to me. Diadem of Dream State is still $10. Feels bad for all the people who speculated on this. So many people were just like, this is the one, right? Like she was down here at 5. It was like $5 for a freaking rainbow foil. It went up and now it's going back down again. Because like, you don't really need this in anything. But like the legendaries are so inexpensive now. I know, it's not worthless. It's always worth something in your heart, Sloop. It's always worth something more in your heart. I think it's just really, really nice to see a lot of these go down. Because like you only need one of them. And that's like, honestly, it's gotten to the point where like what I do sometimes is I'll look at these back pages and I'll go, what do I not own already that I can buy now for an insanely cheap price before hype picks it back up? Because new legendaries are going to be printed in sets, right? So those legendaries will probably be more tuned to the characters that come out in the sets, but you can at least have a start with something. And so like Tekla Foundry Heart, just a super good, awesome chess piece. And it's $17. And this is like a necessary thing for you to run in every mechanologist. So if Tekla Vosen ends up becoming crazy popular, Tekla Foundry Heart. If Max ends up, you know, winning a whole bunch of stuff, Tekla Foundry Heart. Arcanite Skullcap is only $20. I think it's the L's are crazy good at this price. No worries, man. Thanks for popping in, Sloop. Always a pleasure to see ya. Hopefully we'll catch you sometime soon. Congrats again on a wonderful video, by the way. And yeah, have a good one. Enjoy your holiday. But yeah, I think there's like a lot of these, you know. Oh, they even have this up here, the Japanese exclusive mask. Ooh, $120. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good one there. But yeah, it's just like a lot of these legendaries end up being really, really cheap. And it's not, but that's the thing though. It's not really the legendaries that I think a lot of people are upset about. Because the legendaries, super great, but you only need one. Whereas the Majestics, you normally need 3. And as we can see, Enlightened Strike is still about, it's funny because Enlightened Strike is less money at this very moment to buy per copy than a Levels of Enlightenment. So how the hell that even happens, I don't know. Command and Conquer is still expensive, you know. It's only gotten a reprint in HP1, and I guess it technically got a reprint in Dynasty, but as a Fabled, so like, you're obviously not going to get that. But Command and Conquer, huge amount of value in Command and Conquer. It's run in just about every deck in the format, and it's at a whopping $75 a card, and you need 3 of them. So what is that? Let's just assume 80 after tax, 8160, $240 for 3 white border Command and Conquers. So that's where like a lot of that is. But again, it's a generic that you can use throughout any of your decks. So essentially, anytime you want to make a new meta deck, you can just go, hey, cut $240 off of the cost, and it works. Yeah, Codex of Frailty, though, is like crazy expensive. So if you want to play any Ranger or Assassin, you need this card because its value is just so crazy good. And it is, you know, $180 for 3 of them, which is why that's expensive. Art of War went up in price because of Zen. Warmonger's Diplomacy is a way for people to stop doing like insane double turns. This card is going to be really, really powerful into probably the Rune Blades that are soon to come out. So, I don't know. Already Dead's expensive. You don't need it, but it's expensive. And then like most of the other stuff is just like kind of meh, right? Tome of Fyendal's being $5. Phantom Tidemaws went down significantly. And then like a lot of stuff from Mistveil is really, really cheap. A lot of these Majestics and everything are like very, very cheap. Look at that, 68-cent Crippling Crush. We'd love to see that. Hold the Lines are at $21. Ancestral Harmonies are like $30. E-Strikes at $23. Swing Big went down in price, $20 a piece. Freaking Purge of Bladehold is like $11, $12. I might pick that up. That might not be bad. But a lot of these are just like not crazy expensive. The problem is you just need 3 of them. And so even if you just buy 1, you're in a pretty good spot, right? Even if it's just like, cool, I just need 1. Just know when you need to use it and you're good. But like this card didn't see any value at all for like a million years. And then literally it was like, cool, Mistveil. This was a 96-cent card. So I can only imagine for Unlimited, it was 96 cents. For first edition, it was $1.43. Now it's spiked in price significantly. So it's one of those things. You just got to kind of get cards when they're cheap and then wait till a hero utilizes something like that, or somebody utilizes a tech for that, and then just sell them. If you can get one, I mean, I guess what is that, right? If you find a Majestic at $2, right? Let's just do our low to highs here, actually. If we find a Majestic for a couple bucks, right? Or really even this, like Combustion Point. This is a Draconic Ninja attack reaction. This could very well work out if we get a new Draconic Ninja. But it gets +1. 1 for 1, and then you may banish a non-equipment defending card with defense less than the number of Draconic Chain Links you control. This one, I don't think, you know, we could never see this make any kind of progress in the meta, right? Because it blocks for 3, it costs 1. It only gives +1 to the next Draconic or Ninja attack action. And then you can banish a non-equipment defending card, which doesn't really make any sense. There's no reason for that to be banished. So Combustion Point doesn't really make any sense to like spec on. What does Diabolic Ultimatum do? This is a Runeblade action. If an attack action was pitched to play this, each hero chooses and destroys an ally they control. If a non-attack action card was pitched to play this, each hero chooses and destroys an aura they control. So, I mean, this is a 3 for 2. Like, its stats aren't really super great, but if you end up pitching a non-attack into this, you can destroy an aura they have. So it's great into Illusionists, pretty much specifically is what this does. It's great into Illusionist. But it also only blocks for 2. It's not great. Thaw is very specific against like ice heroes. Doesn't really matter. Regicide, not very specific. Ice Storm, you need to have both an ice and a lightning fusion in order to utilize this. And in most cases, you don't have that. You also can't play it in CC, so like, it doesn't matter. But there's a lot of these. I mean, even Territorial Domain, nobody's playing this card. And it's 4 ninjas, a ninja defense reaction. That you can go ahead, when this is defending, if you created a Crouching Tiger this turn, it gets +3. So if you're trying to do a more defensive Crouching Tiger build, you could do that. But playing Fab Gen Con, I'm unfortunately not, Dirk. I'm not. I wish I was able to go to Gen Con this year, but for one, I don't exactly have the money nor the like a place to stay out there. But it also unfortunately is the time in which my parents are coming out here to Colorado to visit me. So I would be unable to attend, unfortunately. But I do know a couple people are going. I don't know if he's gonna pop in here. I know Geeks First is gonna go. It's in his like backyard, so he gets to go to that and check that out. But I don't know if too many people are gonna be. I don't know personally of too many people who are gonna be going. So yeah, Phoenix Form 5 gotta be fun though, right? Phoenix Forms go again. So 0 for 3, go again. 2, it gets 0 for 5, go again. If you have 3, when it hits a hero, draw 3 cards. Like, that's not too terrible of a thing. Phoenix Form 5. That'd be a funny thing to try. Just do like insane Phoenix Forms stuff. I'd love to see a Phoenix Form work. Love to see that. Oh, Dirk! Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your super chat, my man. Appreciate ya. Appreciate ya. How long have you been playing Fab? Also, feel free, chat around, ask questions, whatever need be. I am well versed in the Flesh and Blood. We also care a lot about budget formats here too. So if you're looking for like budget format stuff, or I was just looking over prices for stuff because I was kind of giving tips to like get yourself more acquainted with the market and how that all works. But I kind of want to go into collections a little bit actually, now that we've talked a bit about it, because there is some stuff on this market that are just like, it's kind of insane to know how rare things are. For instance, the strength of Sequoia. Now that I know about this card, I want to get one because this was short printed. The strength of Sequoia. This was a promo that was given out by Alpha Investments. This is a short printed card. So from like a collector's perspective, this card is crazy hard to find. But if you but from like a player perspective, nobody's really going to play this, right? So I don't know though. $139 for a card, pretty expensive, but this is probably something that is going to go up frequent, like very, very well. It's a rainbow foil version, so unless they make some kind of extended art cold foil version of this, then I don't know. But it is one of those cards. I wanted to look at are they the LGS? They are the LGS promos or the Fab promos? This one is the LGS promo. So yeah, so all of these LGS promos, these are the ones that are currently in the market. If we look at card number, right? So a lot of these are really, really hard to get, but not all of them. For instance, this Romping Club is $30. A cold foil Romping Club. This is the first LGS promo, one of the first LGS promos you can get. All 4 of these came in like a pack, where you could buy the pack, like a buy a box pack, and it came with all 4 of these in cold foil. So first, second, third, and fourth, they all came in cold foil. And then started coming the actual cards. So you have like all these here. some little stuff, some cold foil things for this. These ones I believe you had to win. So these ones were not a buy a box. I could be wrong, but they look like they're nearly the same price, so they're probably a buy a box. And then you have these guys here. You have these promos, which were meant for the IRA stuff. These are like so incredibly rare and hard to get. The Wrecker Romps, the blue one obviously being the most expensive because it's the only one most Bruce will play. But extended art Rainbow Foil Wrecker Romps. Blessing of Deliverance is cheap because nobody freaking plays that. Whelming Gust Wave is cheap-ish. The blue and the red stay strictly for like Katsu. You have Iron Song Responses, which I'm not sure why there are... Oh, this one is Rainbow Foil. I don't know why there are two of them here. One Rainbow Foil or one not. Overloop, very cheap. Not many people are playing it besides maybe the red. Sigum Shot, cheap. Reduced to Rune Chance, a little bit more expensive strictly because of Rune Blades. Voltic Bolt, the blue is very good for wizards, but still this is inexpensive. And then of course you start getting into the Monarch stuff. So like right here, this is where Monarch kind of kicked in. You have the Ray of Hopes and the Eclipse Existence. This is such a beautiful card. I have to get this in cold foil. For $1.16, like I have to get this in cold foil. It's insane. And then you got all these, right? All these other ones that are like really, really cheap cold foils. You got all the cold foil weapons from Monarch, and then cards inside the deck. This pulping being as cheap as it is kind of wild to me too. Vexing Malice is fairly cheap. Dusk's Past Pilgrimage is pretty cheap. I think the reason a lot of these ones up here are more expensive as compared to these ones is because there were more people entering the game around Monarch and Aria. So oftentimes you had a change in that, right? And then, so with more people came more armories, with more armories came more people who were looking to get armory stuff. Now you'll see here the Strength of Sequoia. This and the Arcanic Shockwave. Both of these cards, hard to find, apparently. They were both strictly meant for like promos to give away at certain things. I can't remember Arcanic Shockwave where that one came out. I have to watch the Fabled Runaways video again. But both of these cards here, probably the most expensive out of this entire collection. So they're really hard to find. But Monarch was crazy. Meta do this, sold 12 open boxes of Monarch. He sold all the legendaries with Majestic. Oh, there you go. Hell yeah. I'm telling you, Monarch was good. I think there's a lot of stuff. $400 for 12 opened boxes of Monarch. I mean, I guess it depends now, right? Because if you look at, let's just take a look at Monarch, right? Monarch, I'm assuming it was first ed, unless it was unlimited. But 12 boxes at $400, even if you don't get the legendaries, if you consider a box at average about $80, you have, what is that? What's that math? 80 times 12? That's probably well more than 400, right? Sorry, I'm gonna math because it's the 80 times 12. $960. So if you consider them about $80 a box on average, right, for a sealed product, you get about $960. You bought it for $400, but even, I mean, a lot of them aren't like crazy good, but Heralds of Erudition, not bad. If they took all of the legendaries, that means they probably kept the Majestics. And if they did, I mean, you have things like Luminaris, which is a majestic weapon. If you have a cold foil Luminaris, very good. But a lot of the first ed stuff, Genesis, first ed Rainbow Foil Genesis does good. Prism, especially nowadays, because of how, you know, how overall waifu taxed she is. A lot of this stuff goes for a lot. The Bolton stuff doesn't go for an absolute ton. It's not a lot of people are playing Bolton, but Soul Shield is a great one. If they have a lot of Soul Shields, that's a good pickup right now. The best part about The best part about Fab for me personally is if I'm sitting on a bunch of cards that I know are not selling right now, I need to just wait until the people over at Legend Stories Studios go, hey, we're releasing our next set, and in our next set is this hero. And if that hero cares about the cards that I have sitting in my bulk, then those cards will go up in price because more people will be interested in that hero. And because of that, you just make a buck off of that. And it ends up working out. But I think a lot of these light cards end up doing really, really well. Let's see. What else? I mean, even the illusionist stuff from here. Phantasmaclasms are great to have. Does Miraging Metamorph come from here? No, it's Everfest. Spillblood. Fantastic, majestic to keep. And even worst case scenario, like a lot of the rares and commons don't really go for a whole lot of money. So the Majestics are probably the most like money out of it. But like if you really wanted to penny pinch, you probably got like, if you consider X amount of cards in a box on average are rare and common, and then those cards go for about 10 cents a piece online, and you're able to sell them at that rate, you probably end up getting like another $400 out of it, maybe like $200 out of it, something like that. So oh yeah, no kidding. I think Tales of Aria, there's always a lot of speculation when a new set comes out, but if you look at Tales of Aria Unlimited, this is the master set. This is a list of the master set for Tales of Aria Unlimited. This entire set is still only $600. It's the cheapest master set on the market to date. And I think it's just because, one, all the cards from this set are currently not usable, and they're going to have to wait till Rosetta cards are shown for them to figure out if they're going to be usable. But then it's also a very heavily printed set. This, along with Monarch Unlimited, was a very heavily printed set. And so because it was heavily printed, its prices are lower. So Tales of Aria at 602. Monarch, where the hell are you? Well, you've got to be down here too, right? Monarch Unlimited is 820 for its master set. So some of the cheapest master sets on the market is Tales and Monarch. So if you want to get cards from that, that's super great. I do suggest getting bulk Tales of Aria if you can get it. A lot of people will probably just give it out for free if they have it. Because a lot of cards are like 20 cents, 4 cents, a little bit here and there. So I don't think it is impossible to find that. But I think Tales of Aria, a lot of this bulk outside of the Ranger stuff obviously is not going to do anything in here unless they introduce an Elemental Ranger as a secret hero to be put into there, right? Because right now there are 4 heroes being printed for Rosetta, technically 5 if you count Terra, because there's 2 wizards, a lightning and an earth wizard, and then there's 2 rune blades, a lightning and an earth rune blade. And it's kind of an all arcane set. So because it's an all arcane set, I don't expect the Guardian that's coming out in the first strike decks to be printed in it. And I don't believe there's going to be a Ranger. So they might make that the next like Everfest set if they do like Everfest. But all the earth and lightning cards you can pick up from this, like Rites of Lightning, super great card to pick up. What else? Things like Explosive Growth. Okay, Shockwave. Woo-wee, golly, it's... Oh, man, this coffee did not kick in at all. I need to just like start injecting that shit straight into my veins. I don't understand how I can be so tired all the time. Yeah, like a lot of these cards are really, really nice. So I'd be curious to see. What happens, but I like that there's a lot of very interesting collectibles in the market for Flesh and Blood. And a lot of these cards sell really, really well on the open market. Like incredibly well. For instance, I actually am curious. What is that card? Test of Strength? Whoops, I should spell strength right. Test of Strength. This card, yeah. It's gone up. Yeah, it's only gone up, it looks like, since its release. Yeah. So, Test of Strength is a promo that was only damaged? Must not see where it's damaged. Oh, because there's writing on it? No. Where in the world is this damaged? Am I crazy? Am I not seeing it? Oh, I see. There's like a crease in this up here. Does that translate well on the other side? Not really. Interesting. That's unfortunate. But yeah, like this Test of Strength, which is like super good in Victor. You know, this is a promo that you can only get one of, and you know, there were only I think like 1,000 of them ever made, and we have one, so I'm excited. Another one of these wonderful Fab promos. It's Briar. It'd be cool to play another play hero. Yeah, I didn't get to play a whole lot of Briar, so I would love to check her out. Briar might be a hero I end up building in Clash. Because Briar just seems like super fun and like flavorful, but something I discussed with somebody yesterday when I was at my armory. It was a very interesting thing because we were talking about rune blades in general and how they're kind of like it's a hard class to pilot because you need to essentially deal damage on two axes, right? And two axes. You have the physical and you have arcane, and you are trying to balance both of those while still trying to keep tempo, where your opponent just focuses on physical. And so if they're just looking to do physical at that point, then you're probably better off just, you know, focusing on one or the other. That's why Chain did super well, because Chain didn't really care about rune blades. And what else? Briar did really well because Briar didn't care about rune chance. They didn't care about rune chance. They didn't care about the arcane damage. They were just like channel mount heroic, a bunch of 0 for 4 go agains that are 0 for 7 go agains, and then come in with Rosetta Thorn for 2 and 2. And that's just the whole concept. So I think it ended up working out pretty well, but I'd be curious to see where they're going to put these two. If they're going to have maybe one deal with a lot more arcane stuff, and the other one deal with a lot more physical, or maybe they'll just put arcane on the actual attacks as opposed to trying to make rune chance. But they did make rune chance for Rosetta, so there are like rune chance that you have, like they made like special earth and lightning looking rune chance, so I'm assuming they're going to be making them. But I don't know, I'm very curious. I'm curious to see how it's going to work out. I love the concept behind rune blades a lot. The very, like, you know, deal both magic and physical, but it is hard to balance when your opponents are able to push so much. Because like if you can come in, if you have a lot of attacks that end up working out, like what is it? Is it Vexing Malice? Yeah, cards like this, right? Where like you play it, it'll have go again, and it's attack for 3, deal 2 arcane damage. Like this is really good because this is technically a 1 for 5, which is on rate for most cards, right? but it deals it on 2 different axes. So you have cards that you have to block out physical and possibly take arcane, which means instead of comfortably blocking 5, you could block this with a sink below, but you're technically over blocking and you still have to pitch for arcane. So cards like this really allow the Runeblade to kind of do that extra stuff where it's like, oh, cool, you only bothered worrying about my physical blocks. Now I deal arcane damage to you. Or it's like, oh, okay, you want to pitch more cards to keep them in your deck so you don't fatigue. So you're going to pitch to arcane instead of taking physical. You're going to take physical now. So you essentially cut the attack power of every one of their cards in half by choosing whether or not to block out the arcane or the physical. But at the end of the day, you're still chipping away enough damage. And I'd be curious to know whether or not there's going to be a way for you to kind of like generate these rune chants at such a speed to where you could kind of play a little bit like, okay, I'm attacking for 5 and then I've got 5 rune chants on the back end, because that's a lot more. I know Vincent can do stuff like that with her rune gate stuff, right? It's essentially just like make a bunch of rune chants, come in for 7 with 5 on the back end for free, and then do that all over again, right? And make that their whole business. So I don't know. It's very interesting. I like how Runeblade plays. I'd build Vincent if it was like a reasonable thing. I'd be curious. I don't think there's a Vincent that won anything right now, obviously, right? So let's see. Vincent. It's Vincent. Yeah, the Blitz. So like a lot of these, like a lot of the stuff outside of Spellbound Creepers, really cheap to get. And then it's just, this is a Blitz deck, so obviously you have to change things around a little bit, but this is just like pummel good stuff. Shadow Puppetry, very good. You've got Oblivion, Runeblood Incantation. It's just like the good shit. You know, you play Oblivion, you get a Narseth. Really fun to pilot. Probably play Majestic. There you go. Looming Doom Viserai. Viserai is going to be... I'd rather play Viserai than Vincent, I think, but you really have to, like, be on top of your game for that. Because Looming Doom Viserai is cool, but I almost feel like an OTK Viserai... I mean, I guess you technically play both, right? Like, you Looming Doom in case you're trying to just deal damage over time, as opposed to like build up, like, because if you build up like 20 rune chants and then Looming Doom, you get to go ahead and just ping a whole bunch while also coming in for more damage. So because I like the concept of Looming Doom. I think Looming Doom is a really, really good card. That's one of those cards where I expect people are going to be like, oh my god, I can't believe I didn't spec on this card when I got it. But it is an aura. An aura destruction is available widely throughout the game. So it's hard to be like, oh yeah, I think this might work. But this is also nice because it essentially it's at the end of your phase, right? So you come in for a whole bunch of damage, and then it's just like, cool, here's 2 more. Right, you just ping 2. It's essentially a Bloodrot Pox for as many times as you want. Right, because if you put 10 on here, that's 20 damage you are threatening over the course of the game. But obviously, 20 rune chants is not like I don't know how easy it is to make 20 rune chants in Viserai, but probably a lot. Probably easy. Right? Read the runes, reduce the rune chants, create a rune chant. Read the runes makes 3. You don't want to play attacks. You play Oath of the Arknight, that's a rune chant. You destroy Vexing Quillhand or play Grasp, gets you a rune chant. Blessing of the Cult gets you rune chants. Envelop in Darkness gets you a rune chant. Sonata Phantasmia is a really good card because you can create X rune chants. You just need to pitch you need to pitch 4 blues in this situation in order for you to use Sonata Phantasmia in that situation. Because pitching 4 blues will make you 6 rune chance, which will then have your target hero discard 3 cards at random. So that's kind of like a wild thing to try out. Constantly make 30 rune chance. Ooh. I mean, I'm sure they can be made. It's, you know, it's whether or not you're able to keep them around. Let's see. I mean, you have Mauve, but like Mauve, you're also not trying to like use it to hit. You've got Sutcliffe's Research Notes, which is really, really good. Revel in Runeblood, which is just awesome. You've got Sonata Galaxia. But this doesn't make Rune Blades. It just, or it doesn't make Rune Chance. It just utilizes them. Costs X or less. So the concept's there. I wonder if you just run like an all blue Viserai. If you run all blue Viserai, block with a bunch of things, and then come in with like a 9th Blade of the Blood Oath. Just slam it all down. Obviously, you're not going to run all blue because you're going to want to run like these. It's interesting. I'm very curious to see how the set works. But I like I don't know. I'd have to see which one I'd like better, because like I like Viserai's flavor a lot more, you know, being an Arcanite and everything, and also he's from Volcor, which is like my fave. But Vincett's also very cool. I didn't get a chance to play Chain, so I don't know what Chain's like. And I didn't play Briar either, because she isn't really my jam. But I feel like Viserai does some fun stuff, and he's able to be played. I feel like it'd also be a very interesting, like, thing to bring to locals, right? Like, I already have a grasp of the Arcanite, and I could just play a bunch of defensive stuff, come in for a 9th Blade of the Blood Oath for $1 billion. I'd be curious. Do 9th Blades cost anything right now? 9th Blade of the Blood Oath. I'd imagine they do. Oh, look at that. Couple bucks. Easy. What is going to cost money out of any of these cards? Not Read the Runes. Not Vexing. Probably... If I were to guess, the Shard, yeah, the Shard, right? The Shard probably worth the most. But man, would that be cool? That would be so cool. I'd love to own a Shard at one point. I'd love to own, well, I can't say that, I guess. Because I was like, oh, I've never owned a gem before in my life. I don't own a Fable, but I do have a Blood of the Drakai. So, the one that matters. Yeah, I would love to open a box of Arcane Rising. I think that's the one. I think Arcane Rising is the one set I have yet to personally open anything of. Like, I've opened a few packs of Crew, but I've never opened. I think I've only opened 2 packs of Arcane Rising in my life, and it was my first 2 packs of Flesh and Blood ever. But I don't think it was anything crazy. Revel in Runeblood is probably getting hyped up right now. Really? Well, $75 Canadian is like what, right? That's, what is that in US dollars? Because Arcane Rising here in the States, if I wanted to get a box, an unlimited box, $92. So wow. $75 Canadian. What is that? What is the rate on that? Let's see. Is it CAD or CDN? Back from bad, the player community shrinking. It's kind of sad. That is sad. Oh my god. That's very sad. $55? Let's see. CDN. Let's see. CDN to USD. That's still the Canadian dollar. So it's about 55. My God, for real? I would say, man, I'd almost tell you to get a case for me and send it my way, because I'd love to open it. It is unfortunate. I don't understand why stores are pulling back from Fab. Because honestly, if those same stores that had a whole bunch of sealed product just opened them and sold the singles, they probably make more money. I think a lot of places, this is a topic that has come up often now, where a lot of stores expected their sealed product to sell, like people just to buy boxes left and right, like people would in Magic. But people aren't just going to buy a box because it's there. They're going to buy a box if it's incredibly cheap, and also on top of it, it has to have things in it that they want, right? If nobody is playing any of the heroes or any of the classes that are in Arcane Rising, they're not going to buy Arcane Rising. And they'll probably, even if they do, they're probably not going to buy Arcane Rising. They're probably going to just buy the singles. So these cards are significantly easier to sell as singles than they are as cases, because nobody's buying cases. I'd buy a case at $55 at 220 bucks, and I can get a case of Arcane Rising. I don't even think you can do that here. Granted, that's well under map pricing and is against Flesh and Blood policy, but tons of sealed product. If 4 tails of Aria box about for $49 each. Wow. $40. Whoa, that's insane. That's crazy. I gotta get in contact with Sloop again. He's got to come back in here. Somebody's got to get me these boxes. There's no way. But I also know that, like, you know, in that situation, like, you know, housing is a big deal, and like selling cards outside of the United States is hard. I know the markets for like Brazil are really, really bad. Like, it's hard to find a lot of product out there. He was here. He literally was here a second ago, but he had to go. So I shouldn't say a second ago. It was like 20 minutes plus ago. But it is very interesting. I'll probably have him on and talk about like allocation stuff and how things work with it, because I really do want to make it to where Flesh and Blood is accessible. But if more places are done with Fab, like, I'd be curious why people are done with Fab. Like, if an LGS decides they don't want to sell Flesh and Blood anymore, is it because they haven't tried selling singles and they just expect boxes to sell? Or do they not have an online shop in which they can sell things? Is there just no player base? Because I think even if you don't have anybody coming in to play Flesh and Blood, I think even if you ended up being like a single seller as a distributor for Flesh and Blood and you're able to get them at distro prices, I think you're able to make a decent amount of money back. Because I can only imagine what a distro priced box of Arcane Rising goes for. I'd imagine all boxes end up going for like 60 bucks. And you can probably pull $60 the value out of Arcane Rising. Actually, let's check, because we have an EV tracker that we can use. So Arcane Rising Unlimited. On average, you can get about $70 out of them. So on average, you can get about $70 of this from there. And then Arcane Rising had what? I mean, Arcane Rising had Skullbone, Stormstriders, right? Grasp, Eye, CNC. Like, what? That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. You're telling me I can buy a case of Arcane Rising Unlimited for $200. And then if I pull one CNC, it pays for nearly half of the box or half of the case. If I pull two CNC, it's nearly the entire case for 2 cards. Like, why wouldn't you just open this? This is the set to open. Oh no, you're good. You're good. I mean, we're talking about collectibles, right? That's the whole thing. So I don't mind doing it. I don't normally have like a general plan when these things happen, right? I kind of just, I hop online and I want to talk to the community. That's my whole thing. So I want to talk to the community. I want to get your guys' thoughts on things and where you think Flesh and Blood is, where it can change, where, you know, we have these discussions. And so that's kind of the whole purpose behind this. Usually these market videos I end up saving for members because we do have channel members and stuff like that. But I also like talking about this just openly because the market is an important thing for the game, and people need to know how much these cards are worth and where certain areas around the world are struggling. And I feel like it is just crazy good. So I don't know. I like this. If you are trying to link something, it probably is not going to work. I don't have links available to be posted in here strictly because there are, or at least you need to be a moderator to do that. If you want though, and I think this still works, could be wrong. I am incorrect. Okay. I thought I had a Discord thing. I don't have a Discord thing. I can get you a link to our Discord in a sec. Is Fab dying in Canada? Is that a video on YouTube? Here, let me see if I can find it. No, it's not on here. On YouTube. Let me hold on real quick. Let me shoot you a link to our thing here. It's on Facebook. Ah, okay. Let me see. So this is my Discord. You can feel free to click on there, and then you can shoot me a message through Discord if you have that available to you. And I can go ahead and check it out directly. Otherwise, I'm just going to try and find it on Facebook. Let's go to... Do you know what group it was in? Flesh and Blood TCG Canada. Flesh and Blood TCG Canada. Got it. There it is. Ugh. I have to be a part of the group in order to find it. It's a private group. Shoot. Man. No, it's okay. It's okay. If you want, you can take like screenshots of it or something and shoot them to me. I'll gladly read it here. I just don't have access to it, so And I also can't join the group. Oh, it doesn't allow pages to join. That makes sense, I guess. Sure, appreciate you. Because I do want to learn about it, right? I mean, like, I know Brazil has always had like a rough spot for it, and fabtcg is always talking about how it's like hard to find cards down there. There is, I actually got oh God, what was it? I got an email from somebody not too long ago that was about, they wanted me to see if I was able to send them a bunch of bulk to play, so that way they can start doing like commoner events and things at their store, which was in, I can't remember where it was that they did this, but essentially they were just like, yeah, we know anything is great. So, here it is. Venezuela. Okay, I live in Venezuela. We're a fun community of Magic, but I want to start in the Flesh and Blood Commoner. Then I wanted to know if I could pay by the only way I know, that is PayPal. And also, if you do internal shipping to Miami, I want to know the cost and the information you can give me. And I was like, I don't know. I don't exactly have much. Like, if I had way more, that's the thing. Situations like this really, 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 really make me want to, they really make me want to become a single seller again. Because there's so many people out in the world that are looking for cards, or at least like things to buy. And I feel like there's so much like product availability for Flesh and Blood. Like, I feel like if you just took the time and you were able to be like, cool, I'm just going to make 30 commoner decks, and then I'm going to put them in a bundle, and I'm going to sell them to people. And, you know, you can buy it for $250 for 30 decks. And you can just give them to people, and people can play them. It's a pretty great start. So, but I don't know. Part of me is like, if shipping wouldn't have been an absolute freaking nightmare to get from Canada to here, the United States, I'd almost say that if you're able to procure me that, then I could, because I don't have a passport right now, which I need to update, because if I did have a passport, I'd think about possibly doing that. But I also don't live in the Midwest anymore. Because I don't live in the Midwest anymore, it's a lot harder for me to just attempt to go to Canada. I certainly don't want to fly. But yeah, the EV on these things are just like, they're good if you can get them at like insanely cheap prices. And I think that's the other thing. If you're able to get all of this product at insanely cheap prices, it works out pretty fucking well for you. Welcome to Wraith is cheap right now? There's no way. I will open Welcome to Wraith until the day I die. What does a case of that cost? $258 for Welcome to Wraith. Look at that. A case of Welcome to Wraith for 258 bucks. Pretty good, actually. Pretty good. Pretty good. And then, say I just wanted a box. Box like 60 bucks. $64 for a box of Welcome to Wraith. Bravo, Dorinthia, Ryan Arkatsu. Welcome to Wraith. So, Jesus, it's just like good stuff in here. Like, even if you pull a heart out of a box, if you pull a heart out of a case, you freaking golden, right? Golden. You just make all that money. Buy another case. Tunic, even. Like, Rainbow Foil Tunic, 131 from this. And it's down. Like, you're probably at least guaranteed like a legendary in a case. So if you get Scab Skins, Mask, Tunic, Tectonic Plating, or Brave Forge Bracers, I mean, it's at least like 40 bucks inside this case. And then you have all these other Majestics, right? Remembrance, Blood Rush, A lot. But I guess it's not really like a ton, absolute ton of value. So understandable as to why people aren't just like cracking these open. But people like need things on the open market. It is very, very good to have, especially if you can get them for cheap. Because if you can get them for cheap, that's just nice. That's just good. That's just good stuff. That's just good things. All right. But that's a steal. It's a sad thing to know that places in Canada are just like trying to leave Flesh and Blood. But it's good for people who are looking to try and make some money on Flesh and Blood. I genuinely think that if they just cracked open all those boxes and decided to sell them instead, that it would be way, 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 way more beneficial for them than anything else. So I was like, what in the world am I looking at here? No lovers. Oh, no worries, no worries, man. No worries. No worries. I'm just shooting the shit. But yeah, no, I think it's, I don't know. I think it's a lot. Market trend. Oh, look at that. Like literally a market, what we were just talking about, the market trend. $50 up on Arcane Rising First Ed. Smash Instinct Blue Rainbow Foil just went up from WTR. I think a lot of people are picking up WTR Rainbow Foils because they know how little of them there are on the market now. WTR First Rainbow Foils, I should say. Crucible War Unlimited is now at $271. This is insane to me that this is as cheap as it is. Because Crucible of War is low print. Low friggin' print. What am I looking at? Collector Center. Right? Crucible of War. Yeah. So a total of 125,000 displays for Unlimited, which is just insane. Compared to the other ones, right? Compared to WTR and Arcane Rising. WTR had 248,000. So it's literally doubled. And then Arcane Rising had 179. So it is the least printed Unlimited display. And 125,000 even still, Everfest didn't even make that much. 229. So collectively, there is about as much Everfest First Ed as there is Crucible of War. So the very moment from what we know, Crucible of War is the least printed set total. And then it's Everfest. And then after that, I think it's like Arcane Rising, Welcome to Wraith, and then Monarch and Tales. I'd be curious to see what this is. I really hope we get a print run thing soon. Because I would love to know what the print run is for Uprising. Because it would blow my mind. It would blow my mind if this number is under 200. I mean, even if it is 200 or more, I mean, I really don't care. But if this is completely and utterly shorted, you have a lot of these cards in here that are like super short printed. So like, for instance, short printed 50% less than other Majestics. So all the Majestic Dragons were short printed. And then of course they do have the cold foil versions of themselves. What else was short printed on here? Double-sided token. Those were the only things that were short printed in this, was the Majestic Dragons. That's crazy. The Majestic Dragons were the only thing that was short printed in the set. 50% less than other Majestics. So all of these dragons were short printed. Wow. What about Dynasty? What was short printed in Dynasty? This isn't a bad set to pick up either. Let's see. This cold foil Marvel of Draconic is 1 in 10,000 booster packs. That's just strange. Short printed is Rock, featured 66.6% less often as other Majestics. Yoji was short printed there. Season Savior was short printed. Short printed. All the Marvel, or all the regular basic Majestics that are equipment got short printed. So Plasma Mainline got short printed 50%. Powder Keg got short printed 50%. Short printed 66%. The surgical extraction is also very interesting because the rainbow foil is now worth like an insane amount of money. Yeah, unintentionally short printed due to a card number change with regicide during production. Featured 50% less often as other Majestics. Also printed in Dusk Till Dawn, English product with the same set code as at a short printed rate to have the initial intended quantity exist. So not really much changed here, but like the rainbow foils are now very, very expensive. Sandscour short printed, Amethyst short printed. So all that stuff got short printed. That's not a bad thing to get short printed. Outsiders, what got short printed here? Oh my gosh, excuse me. I don't like how they did this one. They made the names all special. 75% less often is Nerve Scalpel. The other side. No, it's just all of them. All Nerve Scalpel. All these daggers are short printed 75% less. Wow. Daggers are worth something, huh? Wait, are the cold foils also that way? Oh, it's just that it can come in those things. Okay. Just seems to be the daggers so far. There we go. The legendary traps were short printed. The codexes were not short printed. Yeah, so only Riptide's legendary traps and all of the daggers that aren't Spider's Bite in this set were short printed. Outside of that, really isn't much of anything. So Dusk Till Dawn, obviously we know what was short printed in this, but these are I really hope to just like open up a Dusk Till Dawn box one day and just be like, we're just gonna open up Dusk Till Dawn and just sell stuff from here, because the cards are super great into many of the heroes, and you know, we're gonna get back into the light stuff and the shadow stuff, and so Dusk Till Dawn's really going to be a great set, and people are going to enjoy it. Maybe even set does really well into a meta, and Dusk Till Dawn's just going to hit really well, or we're going to get like Warmonger's Diplomacies, and then I just open up one of these freaking artist proofs. I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to be so excited. It'll be so fun. So freaking fun. All right. Well, oh, it's like, let's look over here what was short printed in here. Oh, literally the heroes were short printed. Spoiled Skull was short printed. Vincent. Grimoire was short printed. Oblivion was short printed. Bastion was short printed. That's it. Interesting. What did Bastion of Unity do again? What did that do? Bastion of Unity. Oops. When this defends together with the card from hand, this gets +1 to the end of turn temper. Okay. Oh, absolutely transient. I don't even think it's low key. I think it's very high key. It's very high key. It's just good. Like, it's, you know, it's all incredibly, it's still map. Like you can't even get it for like a cheap price up here. Like, it's $73 online for a box of Dusk Till Dawn. A case is still regular, like, map priced casing. It's just good. Everything in here. You know, Prism is hot in the meta right now. So all of these things, you have all these angels that come out of here. It's just a really good set. A lot of these legendaries are going to have use, the extended art stuff. I think it's great. I'd almost like to buy one of these things, actually. I'm going to be having a lot of, what do you call it? I'm going to be having a lot of overtime happening soon. So I'll probably buy a couple cases. Maybe not I'm probably about a case. Not a couple cases. I'll probably buy a case. But I don't know. I really just need to commit and figure out whether or not I'm going to just be doing single selling again. What do you guys think? Do you guys buy from me if I sold singles? I need a lot of room here, which I have technically. So, but I want to do that. Because the best part is I can open up all this stuff and then sell it on the shop. And then do a tax deduction or a tax or write-off on buying the boxes. So I can spend $300 and then just do a bunch of write-offs on all these boxes. But I'd have to make, I don't know. Well, I appreciate that, Transient. I appreciate that. I think it's just nice. A lot of people are starting to get into, we need more single sellers, right? I think that's really it. I think if there were more people who got into selling singles for Flesh and Blood, it would be significantly more accessible. And like a lot of these cards would get into the hands of a lot more people. You'd see a lot more stuff. You'd also see like sealed product actually start to like accrue in value, because right now we're in a situation where like you want to open boxes to then sell the contents. It's just like way more lucrative. But eventually when we find out what the box prices were like, or not box price, once we find out what the print runs are like and how much of what exists, you know, it's going to be very, 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 very nice to be like, okay, cool. We're collectively as a community looking to sell singles and do that. But I don't know. I think a part of me is just like, if I do sell singles, I probably have to stop playing in armories, which means I'm going to have to sell like everything that I have for Classic Constructed, which is fine because I don't really I play Classic Constructed strictly to go, but I'm not like testing or going to Nats or doing any of that stuff. It's just not like my jam. So, yeah. Yeah, I might have to see. I'd be curious if there are some people who would like to unload. There's some shops that I know that are near me that have like Flesh and Blood. Like they sell Flesh and Blood, but they're not like running events or doing anything different. I'd be curious to see if there are sales that I can get out of them. Which is also like, it feels bad because it's definitely going to be under map pricing, but I can't buy 11 cases. I don't even think I could buy 11 cases at like a really good discount. Even if every case was like $200, I couldn't buy 11 cases because I don't have that kind of money. So but if I put it on the card, if I put it on my credit card and then I sell everything and then I pay off the credit card within the same month, I don't know. As long as there's always money coming in. I guess I should ask, right? Are you always seeing a profit when you're buying things from people? Like, one thing I do want to check is I want to check to see what generally, yes. Is it like a substantial profit, or is it kind of just like enough to be like, cool, we're technically positive, but like you already bought all this stuff to do it again, right? Marketplace. I see. So you end up just, well, because collections, I'm sure you probably just end up buying at what, 40% TCG low, and then you just you do it like you would an LGS, right? Yeah. No, that's value. That's value, bitch. That's good. There aren't too many people selling Flesh and Blood out here in Colorado, it seems. I wonder if I can go to eBay and find like collections. Flesh and Blood TCG collection. Oh, this is just way too expensive. Oh, it does come with sealed product. Really? Really? What LGS, if you don't mind me asking? It's obviously not one I go to, but... Okay, no worries. No worries. It's got all these decks in here too. Pro binders. I see. I see. Well, that's good. I mean, I think that's just kind of one of those things. If you know that you're trying to buy other places out to do it, then that's fine. You know, if they genuinely want out and you can get it at a deal, rad. You know, because that's my whole thing. If I could get like a case of Dusk Till Dawn for like $200 because nobody's buying it, I'll buy it, right? We are actually, I don't know, Transient, if you were just hearing this earlier, but somebody from Canada was telling me that there are a bunch of places in Canada that are looking to stop holding Flesh and Blood stuff. And so they're selling boxes of like Arcane Rising Unlimited for like $55 USD. Which is like $75 Canadian. So, yeah. Definitely deals out there, but I guess I don't have like an operation yet. You know what I mean? I think if I was going to start an operation, I have to get access to a lot of different things. So I have to get access to a printer. I have to get all my supplies. I still have all my supplies. I have to get more supplies. And then I need to go list everything online, sell it, make money, buy new things, sell them, make money, buy new things. Hmm. Interesting. I mean, definitely not for cheap, for sure. I mean, I can see that, Dusk Till Dawn, it's still, $73 for a box of Dusk Till Dawn online, which is under map, but it's not like an insane amount of value. Because if you can get Dusk Till Dawn boxes for like $60, like that's not terrible. Nice. There you go. And you just have access to distributors, right? Access to that kind of stuff. Because I'd be curious. I don't know whether or not it's. I know sometimes you can have distributors. You can get distributor pricing from Flesh and Blood, if you are like, what do you call it? If you are like labeled as a single seller. I know Flukenbox did that. Flukenbox initially was not able to get distribution pricing for where he was, but then he told LSS, he's like, the people of the APAC region need more cards, and I'm willing to do that and open them up and ship them from my place, but like, I need distributor pricing, right? Because I'd love to get distributor pricing. If I can get distributor pricing for Fab, it'd be great. So I'd be curious. I'd be curious to know. I might even look into possibly doing that with an LGS that I go to, because they don't really buy a whole lot of. They host a lot of Flesh and Blood events, but they don't buy a lot of Flesh and Blood product. So I'd almost be curious to whether or not I can just be like, hey, you get it at distro pricing, give it to me at distro pricing. I sell it for distro pricing, or I sell it for significantly higher. But I don't know. Does the store you partner with get a cut? How does that work? I'm not super business savvy, but got it. Yeah, just so they can make a profit, right? That makes more sense. I guess I also don't know. I don't know what distro pricing looks like for Fab. Like, what does distro pricing for Mistveil look like? Because if boxes come in and they're sold MSRP like $90, and then they can map it 20% less. So they put it at, it's not 90, it's $109. So you're to 16 plus of them, yeah. Yeah, because that's the other thing, is you got to order a lot of them, right? So, because what is that? Times 16, yeah, $872. So theoretically, I mean, like for 16 boxes, that's what? 4, 8, 12, 6, 4 cases, right? So 4 cases of Mistveil for $872. If you sell everything in there and you get, let's say you just get super lucky, you end up getting a bunch of levels and cold foils and other things. $250 a case handling fee. Okay, so $10 more. $852. And if you're doing a couple bucks over that, you're probably paying what, $57 a box. So you assume $57 a box times 16 plus $10. Oh, no, for each case, $160. How am I talking about? No, a case, because it'd be $10. So like 922, about like almost $950. Well, 925 probably, right? Like $925 for all that. So $1,000 gets you 16 boxes. Okay. So 2% of that's another $10. And 9.2. So $9.02 is 10%. No, that's less. My math on that. It's like $20. So yeah, about like $9.50 after all said and done. $9.50 for a case, or for 4 cases. And if you can sell more than $1,000 in boxes, or more than $1,000 in singles, then you're pretty good. You're guaranteed a cold foil in like every box. Marvels are rough. At least in this one, you have access to like the craziest fucking thing. Like if you end up getting a gold foil that has a Marvel Enigma in it, you can sell it for like $4 grand. Crazy. Yeah, the EV is definitely low, but I think really, I mean, if you're able to connect, if you're able to get a lot of like, you know, even a few of the really like necessary cards, or even really some of these Marvels are just like crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the money will be made back the next time we go around to Mystic Heroes. So like if there's a new Mystic Hero that comes out, this will be more relevant because people will stop opening Mistveil when Rosetta comes out, probably. That is always kind of the downside of being a single seller, is that you kind of really have to get your stuff pre-ordered and in, cracked, listed, and then ready for the release, right? Because if you don't do that, you know, like Fab had, or Mistveil did really, really well in that first 2 weeks of its launch because people were looking to buy things for Nationals. And if they didn't buy anything for Nationals, they missed out on their decks, right? So I think it ended up working out a lot, but I just don't have those connections, nor do I have the initial money to do anything like that, as much as I'd like to. But even if it's like I buy 1 box a month, I think it's not terrible. I just wish I could get a deal on it. Just get a deal at distro pricing. By collections, yeah. Okay. Do you have a place you normally would buy collections? Because like I'm on eBay right now and I'm looking at collections and like there's a few collections on here, but nothing really like insane. I'm assuming you just like make a big post and just like, hey, I'm buying collections from people. I know Mercari does some stuff there. You can sell cards on like Mercari. Yeah, that's probably a good call. Yeah, because that's the crazy thing too. Something that there was somebody else who talks to me about. I think it's 7 Foot. Was it him? I can't remember who it was. But somebody's like buying strategy, which I think is really, really good, is that what he'll do, or what they'll do is they'll go about and they'll buy like 20 to 50 Majestics that are at like under $5. And he'll just scoop them up and then sit on them and then wait until somebody out there, something happens in the future, and then go, okay, cool, this card is now meta relevant. Like, I think a card recently just did that. That was like very crazy. Well, Snag, right? Obviously, Snag was insanely cheap before new was released or even announced. Like a year ago, Snag was, you know, $1, and now it's $10. So you've 10x'd your money. And if you bought, you know, if you had like 20 of them, you can just shove them onto the market. But that's how I feel. Like cheap legendaries, I feel, are that way too. Especially since so much of the stuff is like, the legendaries are cheap. They're cheap right now, which is like crazy good. Because I already had this up. I don't know what I'm doing. You got the cheap legendaries, cheap majestics, like when Roar of the Tigers, when everybody was like, Roar of the Tigers is gonna be crazy, and then you just like waited for that price, and you're like, crazy good. 3 visits is another one of those things too. Like, if we, you know what, matter of fact, if we look at Part the Mistveil, let's just look at it, right? We're just gonna take a look. Take a look at Part the Mistveil. We're gonna look at Majestics. And then we are gonna do prices of low to high. Territorial Domain, Attuned with Cosmic Vibrations, the freaking shrines. These shrines are going to be worth it. Because one, expansion slot cards are going to be worth something. So expansion slot cards. And then also, you have all of these other Majestics. 3 visits. There are people specking hard on 3 visits. Gorgon's Gaze. Visit the Golden Anvil. Nobody freaking knows how to use Olympia yet, but if Olympia becomes popular enough and ends up becoming meta, Visit the Golden Anvil could very well be the reason it does. Tooth and Claw, nobody's running it in Zen right now, but you might have to pivot at some point in the future to make this a problem, make this a thing. This Evo stuff for Teklevosen is the only arcane barrier that he currently has available to him, and it's 40 cents. 10,000 Year Reunion, nobody's running this in Enigma right now, but maybe they will. Supercell, this is necessary for Max, and it's 64 cents. Long Dry Half Glove, this is a way around Warmonger's Diplomacy for Rangers. You have Maul, another card that Zen is not using. Cosmic Awakening, the nastiest Mystic card I've ever seen in my entire life, and nobody's running it. Like a lot of these cards are just like super crazy cheap. Shifting Winds of the Mystic Beast was super cheap. It's $1.40. It's, you know, a lot of it's being opened, but in the future, especially these expansion cards, I think that's probably where my like spec would stand. Is if I found a whole bunch of expansion cards and those expansion cards were under $1, I'd buy like 40 of them, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, exactly, right? Because like there could come a time later, like this quite literally. Yeah, heroes you could sell because like they're not going to make any sense. Like Maul, choose one or both. This is just a Nick, but for ninjas. There's a ninja attack reaction, so it's for ninjas, not specifically just Mystic. Target attack action with 1 or less base gets +3, and then so it's still a breakpoint. And then Crouching Tiger gets, when this hits, create 2 Crouching Tigers in your banished zone. You may play them this turn. So it's a 59-cent card. And if somebody goes and wins the Pro Tour Amsterdam with Maul in their deck, this card is going to jump from 59 cents to like, I don't know, whatever the hell. Or if you see Teklevosen win against all these, you know, arcane things, then it's going to be because they have the arcane damage, the arcane barrier. Especially generics like Prismatic Leyline, that's a generic Majestic. Rowdy Locals is a generic Majestic. If this goes up like freaking Down and Dirty did Defended by an action card, this gets +2 power. And then when this hits a hero, discard a card. If you do, they discard a card. So if there's a discard mechanic thing that's important, Rowdy Locals could be good. It's a 0, 3 block blue that comes in for probably 4, which is a breakpoint. So yeah, like Kindles only being $3, I feel like that's going to be pretty important later on for Kindles. You've got I think it's just one of those things, you know, like you see a lot of this stuff that is on the market that like nobody cares about because it's not in the top lists, right? It's currently not in the top list. But I mean, even what if we even look at heavy hitters, right? Like heavy hitters is going to be nearly the exact same. We take a look at heavy hitters and we look at just the Majestics. Look at this. Reckless Charge, currently not useful in KO, but it could be something interesting down the line. Boast is a very interesting block card. We've got the Evo Magneto card. That's good into other Mechanologists at 22 cents. Seduce Secrets lets you look at your opponent's hand. Reel in for traps. Pay up. Talk a Big Game. Talk a Big Game I don't think is a very good card, but it's there for a reason. No Fear. This is KO's way to stop Wizards. No Fear is going to be great in the next meta. Show No Mercy, fantastic runner specialization. Obviously, nobody cares about Betsy, but like Betsy, bet big. Nasty Surprise, people are high on right now. Graven Call, 66 cents. 66 cents for Graven Call. Judge, Jury, Executioner. Azalea is about to get a whole lot of crazy stuff that has to do with aim counters, and this card is $1.71. Like, if I wanted to, I could buy up this entire first page right now. I have a whole bunch of these, and then just be like, all right, cool. The card is now going to be, if this card ends up hitting $10, I've made huge value. Because it's also an expansion slot card. Prime to Fight is only $1.39. The Olympia specialization up the ante. And $2. Double Down, $2. Shift, $2. Like when we're looking at these cards further on down the line, are you sure printed? I believe it is, yeah. But yeah, like Tenacity is super cheap. Trounce is super cheap. Cast Bones is super cheap. Golden Sun is cheap. This card was like $10 not too long ago, wasn't it? It was like $7, and then it's like, oh, okay, we're not playing Guardian anymore. Course of Tendency, the Arachne specialization. Like Ancestral Harmony, I made like money on because I ended up pulling these out of a box. I ended up pulling Ancestral Harmonies out of a box. And like I'm thinking about possibly selling them because one, I got them out of a box. Two, when I got them, they were at this price, which was, you know, like a couple bucks. For anybody who picked up Ancestral Harmony at $3 or even $8, we're winning. And the foils, I mean, a rainbow foil is worth a lot too. Well, not by a lot. Depending on who you ask, I guess, but. And look, there's not even a lot of Majestics in the set. These are all the Majestics and heavy hitters. Actually, something I do want to look at is Bright Lights. Because Bright Lights is out of print already. Yeah, I probably should. Again, that's like the single seller in me is like, I feel like I definitely should just be doing that. Like Bright Lights, this is such a set that everybody deems such a freaking failure. And like, look at all these Majestics that are just sitting at under $1. All these Majestics under $1. This Dust from the Crone Caverns is $1.65. We know by James White's words himself that these dusts are going to be important for the next Dromai that they make. Why are they $1.65? Like, these are going to go up. They're going to go up because they're expansion slot cards, except for the ones in Dynasty. They're expansion slot cards, so they're already harder to find, and Bright Lights is already out of print, so you're not going to be able to get another one. Like, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that this is the case. Now, like, look at all of this. Like, War Machine, all these cards for Teklo. A lot of it. A lot of Bright Lights floating out there. Yeah. Bright Lights is something I might even pick up. Just because, like, Bright Lights itself, if we don't do the Majestics, right? Let's just do... I think the boxes are pretty cheap. Yeah, like pretty cheap. I think this is a banger of a set, especially if you can pull this. Like, you kidding me? Singularity, $650 for a freaking Marvel. It's like the only good Marvel in the entire box. Then you have the Already Deads. You've got Shrieks. You've got the Hyper X3s for all the people who are playing Max. Twin Drives are really good. Like, a lot of people like Mechanologist. So I'd be curious. I'd be curious if I can just genuinely pick up a box of Bright Lights or a case of Bright Lights for like 200 and just be like, here it is. 150. Ooh, that might not be a bad call. Cause like, nobody's buying it. You know what I mean? And I'd like to at least have... Bright Lights did the Crack, Shuffle, and Play, which obviously didn't work out too well for them. In this situation, I mean, it was nice, but like, they're probably not going to be coming out with a single class only set again. So it was just a fun little way to do a sealed thing, but I liked Crack, Shuffle, and Play. I thought that was fun. I don't know. The sealed experience was fun, outside of the fact that it was just like play Tekla-Vosen or die, based on what you got. But a lot of people really don't like the product, and this is like a gold mine. Because if I open up a case of this and I even pull... I mean, Tunic was reprinted in here. Freaking the Tekla Foundry Heart was reprinted in here. 2 legendary chess pieces that are from back in the day. Reprinted. This one in an expansion slot, so already hard to find. But I'd be curious. I'd be curious to know. Be like, hey, my guy. Because I can just chit chat with the guy I know from the store who runs the events. I'd be like, what are you guys doing entire cases of stuff for? Because you're probably sitting on this Bright Lights for a little while and looking to get rid of it. And I'm willing to buy it off of you, but... Because I'm not like super huge into Mechanologists. I mean, I think I like it because it's pretty much like mostly aggro. But the set is just like, I mean, Warband of Bologna could very well be like a huge Bolton specialization later. Adaptive Plating seems super great apparently, even though I still don't know what the hell this thing does. Phantom Tidemaws in the set. We already know about that. Like, look at all of these really, really good Majestics. For fucking over 30. Now, granted, a lot of them are Marvels, but for over like $15. Yeah, right? Warband of Bologna in there would be pretty good. And it's like $15 for the regular one. Next time you attack this turn, you may charge your hero's soul. If a yellow card is charged this way, draw a card, go again. Like, even if you run this in... even if you run this in the Bolton Armory deck that's soon to come out, like, that's good. The $15 legendary you can throw in there. Tome of Imperial Flame was in this set. This card is gonna be necessary for Draconic players, probably in the future. Intoxicating Shot, great Riptide specialization. Sonata Phantasmia, great Viscerai specialization. Terminator Tank, incredibly powerful card for Teklevosen. Unless it's a hero, they discard a card. Like, what? This is a 3 for 6 over, or 3, I'm sorry, 3 for 9 overpower if you have 4. Yep. Yep, that's why I didn't ever get him. My whole thing with Tome was that I mained Dromai. Back when Dromai was able to be played, I mained Dromai. And I never bought Tomes because Tomes were way too fucking expensive. I couldn't afford them. I could not afford Tomes. But when she LL'd, I was like, this Tome is going to go down in price because people are going to want to sell them. So now looking at them at $10 a piece, I can buy 3 copies for $30. And then when Dromai gets released again, Tome of Imperial Flame can go shoot back up to 40. I mean, I'll probably end up buying like 6, right? Sell 3 at hype prices, keep 3 for my deck, and then move on. But even like cards like this, like Annihilator Engine, this looks like insane. I was just looking at this card, wasn't I? Wasn't I? No. Are Terminator Tank and Annihilator Engine the same card? Oh, when does hits a hero destroy all cards defending this? Terminator Tank says when this hits a hero, they discard a card. But yeah, a lot of really great power cards in here, especially for the expansion slot. I think that's really something that's going to keep being forgotten about a lot in sets, is the expansion slot. Like, people are not going to remember that a lot of the cards from the expansion slot are like for other heroes, but we're not getting expansion sets anymore from what I know. And so because we're not going to get expansion sets anymore, this is the only time in which you are going to get these cards to be able to become more valuable throughout the time. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it comes down to manpower, right? I mean, like, if you don't have the people or the time or the money to pay said people to do that, then it costs a lot, right? Part of me is even wondering, like, if I got my LGS to buy more Flesh and Blood so that I could crack it and then list it on their site, like, at that point, I'm an employee for them. I could do it part-time if that's all they wanted, right? And I could just be like, okay, you guys can ship out the orders, but I'll go ahead and I'll sort, I'll organize, I'll rip, I'll do it all, right? And I can just record the openings here on my channel. That's the only thing I'd need there. And then, like a, I don't know, 20% cut of sales every month. I think that's fine. And that way I can just go, okay, this is product. You can buy it from this store. I get a cut. You guys can go there, buy stuff from them. They have all these fab singles online. But like, the LGS I go to doesn't have like an online shop. They sell through TCG Player, which I actually am curious because I have not been able to find them. They either sell through TCG Player or they sell through eBay. Strategy to fake name on TCG player. Interesting. I mean, I guess that makes sense, right? That way they don't have. I mean, Magnolia Gaming doesn't do that, and MinMax doesn't. But I'd imagine if you are trying to upsell online. Oh, interesting. The banana stand. I don't know. Like, I guess it would make sense. Like, if you're trying to do like different pricing, right? Like, if you're trying to price online lower than what you're trying to price in store. But I think it just makes sense to have a good like online shop. Oh, I guess that makes sense, right? One account to buy the product at distro pricing, another account to sell it at less. Oh, there's nothing there. I don't know. I'd have to see. Because that's like something I'd love to do, right? Is I'd just love to be like, okay, cool. If I can backpack sell this stuff online, I can get a, you know, if I can run the listings, get it all set up, and then, you know, we can have somebody at your store do the shipping part of it, then that'd be fine. But it'd be a nice little thing to get some extra money in there. But it is really, really crazy because they don't want to open the product, right? They see the EV on everything and they're like, yeah, I don't want to open the product. But like, you have access, like it's much better that if you are just sitting on sealed cases for like a long period of time, you just open them. Like, it's not going to be like Magic where the cards are going to be like, oh yeah, okay, well, this is going to be a set to remember. And so it's going to be impossible to, it's going to be like a super big collector's item sealed. Like, keep like, you know, a case sealed. If you really are like, yeah, I'm going to speculate on sealed. Like, the singles market is so incredibly good for Fab. I don't know why you wouldn't just buy the singles or sell the singles. And then same deal, right? If you're just buying cheap singles and then flipping them online, you're making significantly more profit off of that, right? You just go, okay, cool. I'm going to buy your collection. It's like, cool. How much you want for your collection? $1,000? Okay, cool. Take everything there, sell all the meta relevant cards, and then anything that's underneath that, you can just swap in and go, okay, cool. This is what I've got. Kind of it, right? So yeah, I mean, even 3 cases, right? That's, you know, that's not bad. Because I mean, that'd kind of just be a good thing, right? Because like if it ends up becoming to the point where it's like, cool, the sealed is actually becoming super relevant, which I don't know if it ever will, but I guess it will in a way, right? Because the Marvels are never going to be reprinted outside of the set that they're in. The cold foils will never be reprinted outside of the set that they are in. So honestly, the same goes for rainbow foils too. With like Fab 2.0 stuff, right? And further and everything else there. So that makes sense that, you know, you keep some there because you don't know, you know, just makes sense. But hopefully, it's only just a matter of time. But even just buying like, if you take a bunch of like 50-cent cards and buy 20 of them, you get, they're probably not all 50 cents, obviously. It's probably going to end up becoming like 50 cents to like $1.50. But even still, it's like $24, and you end up getting 20 copies of a card, and you just sit on them. You wait. And then when those cards end up spiking, you go, okay, cool. I've got a lot of them. Sell them online. You make your money then. But I definitely think Bright Lights is underappreciated. And that's like these dusts from the... If you look at these dusts, this is what's crazy to me. There's only 5 so far, right? It's only 5. There are Uvia, Necria, Vincerikai, Chromai, Miragai, Yendurai, Asvalai, Themai. 8? 8 dragons? I don't know why I bother. I think there's 8. 1, 2, not counting the Majestics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I missed Chromai, I guess. So 9 dragons. And there's 1, 2, 3 Majestic dragons. Because, like, what if Tumultai gets a freaking Ash? Like, are you kidding me? If Tumultai gets an Ash, it's over. It's over. Game's over. So good. But the fact that all of these... I might just genuinely pick up a bunch of these. Like, I could... There's, what is it, 97 listings on the market right now? If I picked up 50 of them for these dusts from the Stillwater Shrine, which granted, this one not like the most coolest, because it's like... It's for Miragai, and Miragai already technically has Phantasm on entry if it's the only dragon you have. But Chromai is worth it. Chromai, even Vincerikai, Necria, Themai, like these are all very powerful. And like Chromai is going to be the most expensive, right? Because this one you want to have this card have no Phantasm. But like it's all based around this person. Where are they in this picture? I don't see them. But whoever this person is, this individual who is at every single one of these dust locations. I didn't even think I saw them on the thing here. Are they on this? Dust from... Are they in this one? I don't see it. Unless that's like... No, those are probably rocks. But she's right there. She's right there. She's not in... Oh, she's right there in this one. And then... She's right here. Didn't know the person is on most of this. Yeah, it's the same person. Whoever this is probably like the best picture of them. Right here. And like it doesn't look like Dromai. But there's a person in every single one of these. She always looks like this. Like kind of tattered. She's wearing a hood. She's got a hood in this one. Is it also a hood in this one? There's no way to tell. Her hair's long in all of them, but like this one shows that. No, it's the same outfit. So that's the whole thing. There's another Draconic Illusionist somewhere out there going and collecting these dusts, and that's why Dromai is not good. Unless it's like, you know, this is like what happened is like the Emperor died and she was like, okay, I have to go on a fucking journey. But like, the dusts are great. Gotta get them. But I think I'd probably pick up 20, if not 40 copies. Maybe 30. I guess 30 is probably the, well, because it's got to be divisible by 3. So it's either 30 or 60 or 20. 20 is divisible by 3. No, it's not. 15 is divisible by 3. So could be. I'd be very, very happy, because that's the other thing too, right? Now we can't just be like, okay, we have to wait till the next set to figure out who's going to be in it. There are going to be new heroes, brand new heroes to the game, not inside main sets, that are going to be released as armory decks. So it could be anybody's game. And granted, those could come with dusts, right? But these are all majestics, and they're not going to have a majestic. They're not going to have a dust for every single one, especially if some of these are expansion slot cards. So I'm big specking on Dromai. Big ol' specking on Dromai. But anywho, it's 3 o'clock. I've been live for about 2 hours and 40 minutes. Probably time for me to go get some lunch, eat something, go spend some time with my girlfriend since she has the day off today. And yeah, I'm gonna check it out. But super hyped on a lot of Volcor stuff, right? Very happy to see some new things. Again, it's hard because like I don't want to speculate, but like a lot of these cards are going to be really, really good in the future. I know it. So I speculate very heavy on a lot of Draconic because like Draconic seems to be like a favorite of a lot of people. So any of the Draconic cards on top of Draconic Illusionist specifically, since Dromai was a favorite to a lot of people. I also want to get a lot of the dragons, now that the dragons are like crazy cheap. It's like less than $20 for any of the Marvel dragons. So getting a Marvel dragon now is insanely good because there's nothing for them right now. So that's why part of me is like, I want to sell my hot singles right now, because if I sell all 3 of my Codex of Frailty, I can get a ton of cards that I can speculate on and also get stuff for my collection. But if I don't, then I just get to end up playing the deck, which is just fine, because I could just play the KO Armory deck. I like it. I think it's a fun deck. So who's to say? But anywho, thanks Transient for hanging out. Thanks everybody for stopping by. If you guys came to hang out, if you guys are watching the VOD just now, thank you. We got a lot of new subscribers recently due to our Is Flesh and Blood Expensive in 2024 video. So thank you all so much for joining the wonderful crew we have here. We are almost at 1850 subscribers, so that's very, very nice. And then moving further down the line, we'll go ahead and we'll check that stuff out and go from there. But maybe I'll start doing some more market watch stuff. I may make it a thing for members first for the first week, and then maybe for the first like 3 days, and then push it out to the rest of the world, because I like talking about market things and what I'm, what I'd be speccing on and all this stuff. So yeah, anywho, thanks guys for watching. I appreciate your support. Thanks for hanging out. If you want to become a channel member, you certainly can. That helps this channel continue to grow. It is not necessary at all, but it is certainly appreciated. And then if you have not already, you can always subscribe to the channel too. Again, we are creeping closer and closer to 2,000. And I'm hoping to also talk a little bit about some stuff for other TCGs as well down the line. So keep an eye out for that. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate your support. Enjoy your holiday if you live in America. Outside of that, enjoy your Thursday. So take care, and I may see a few of you on our Twitch channel later tonight, where I try out a game that just came out recently. I'm very excited to dive deep into. So thank you all so much. I'll see you later. Nerd out.